King Brown here again, and we're just about to start doing some restoration. Now, if you watched the last video, and I suggest you do, I go through a bit of an explanation on how to analyse your camp oven and decide on what course of action you should take to do the restoration. The one I'm going to do today is the one that I always do these days. It's electrolysis. It's by far the best. If I've got something that needs tidying up, 99 times out of 100 I'm going to use electrolysis because I just want to restart it from scratch, bring it back to base metal, get rid of all the carbon, get rid of all the paint, get rid of all the foreign stuff that shouldn't be on there, including the rust, and just have a bare metal surface to work with and re-season the oven from there. To do that, I'm going to be using a bit of a new equipment because my equipment got lost in the floods, and my trusty old Arlec battery charger that I had, it was brilliant. Unfortunately, the new battery chargers are a bit smarter than the old ones apparently, and you can't use them anymore because they know that they're not hooked to a battery, so they won't give you any charge. But the old ones did. The old ones, I used to be able to just hook them up in my electrolysis and it'd run a current through them, the old battery chargers. Anyway, RIP the old battery charger, she's gone now, she drowned. So I've actually done a bit of research and I've bought myself this little gadget here. It's a power supply, and we might just zoom in on that, show you a bit of a look on that one. Yeah, it's a power supply, and I have pretty much no idea how to work it. But apparently you can use them, and I'm only pretending I can see that from here. I have to put my glasses on. But I've got this little box, and there's a big bunch of wires that come with it and an instruction book. So I'm going to go and read that before I start, get myself familiar with it, and hopefully I won't blow the place up. Basically, electrolysis, it is very simple. It's not really all that dangerous. But it does create a bit of a fumes, and you know, they say it's toxic fumes or whatever. So you're supposed to do it in a nice, light, airy place. Now I have back here my my electrolysis bin. I've managed to save that. This is what I've always used. It's a small wheelie bin. Just a small wheelie bin. It did have a lid, but it's come up drift somewhere along the line. And what I did was I actually made this frame that goes in. It's made from some various scraps of metal that I had laying around. That's why they look a bit weird. They're all different shapes. So there's two pieces of Rio bar here. Deform bar. They're awesome. They do a great job. And this is another piece of deform bar with something welded to the end of it for whatever reason. And there's some smaller bits here. It just happened to be a forky one. No particular reason why they're in this shape or configuration. It was just scrap metal I had laying around, pure and simple. Now these are the sacrificial anodes. So basically this is going to hang in the bin. I think it goes that way. Yeah, they hang in the bin, and the sacrificial anodes are clear. They sit clear of the sides. They're just dangling straight down, and I will fill this with solution, water, and I'll endeavour to make that water conductive. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But the first thing I'm going to have to do here is actually knock off all that rust. I don't have to, I could just run it in the way it is, but I will. I think it does a better job. I will just run over these bars with the wire wheel and just real quick just knock off all the loose stuff, get them back to a bit of a more of a bare metal stage. And anywhere up here is where the electric wires are going to be connecting to somewhere on this frame to put the current into it. So I'm actually going to clean that up where I'm going to attach that as well. The rest of it won't really matter. So basically this will have a plank across here with some wires, an insulated wire dangling down to the camp oven or the lid or whichever part I'm actually working on, and it will suspend it in the liquid. And the liquid, I'll add this stuff here, electric washing soda. You can buy this from the supermarket. I'll just add this as I'm mixing the water, dissolving it in until it feels very slippery on my fingers. Right? And I know it's pretty much got enough. I think from memory it's about half a bag I usually put in, something like that. I don't really remember. It's been a number of years now since I was doing any restoration. So I'm just going to make that conductive with this electric washing soda, clean up my anodes, and set up the camp oven ready to run the current through, and it will make a remarkable difference even overnight, whereas a lot of the other methods can take quite a while, several days. So anyway, I better go and set this up and get it ready for the next stage. Okay, well I've started cleaning it up, and found my grinder, and I couldn't find a wire wheel, but I found the flapper disc. It's doing a pretty good job. Basically want to get a fair bit of rust off, but it doesn't have to be all the rust. I've got it shined up here in places, as you can see. The rust is just going to make it a bit slower if I leave the rust on there. If I get it back to bare metal, it's going to have a good electronic current running through the water onto the bare metal, and it's going to do the process a lot faster. So I usually just knock off the rust and get it back to a bit of a bare metal state, and shine up some places where I can put my electrodes on the frame, and then we'll throw them over there in the solution. We've got the solution all mixed up and ready to go. Okay, well I'll just get back and finish doing my grinding. Okay, we're ready to go. I've got a little bit of a spot ground off there. I actually ended up finding a flapper disc for my grinder, and it didn't do too bad a job. It's not perfect, but it'll be fine. It'll be enough. I've just knocked off a bit of rust there and a bit on the inside with the flapper disc, just so I get a good contact with my alligator clip, because I'm going to be putting one of the wires onto there. I've tied the oven base to a rope, and the rope is just long enough, and I'll just lower it down there so you can see, to oh, that's way too long. I'm going to have to shorten that. That's about the depth I want it. I'll just wind him up a little bit. That's about the depth I want it, and that's going to be suspended in the water. The solution, I'll just drop him in there gently now. Actually, that's good. I'll sit that up there. That's pretty good, I think. And I don't want him touching the sides. Problem is, I forgot to put the other piece in first, so I'm going to have to get him back out. And that's all right. That was a trial run. We'll sit him down here, and I'll tie that rope off properly. Put my sacrificial anodes in. May just sit in there like that. Now, if you're building one of these, you really only need the one anode. You don't have to have one in every corner like I've done. I just decided I wanted to build something fairly substantial, and my theory is it's conducting from every corner of the pot. So it does quite a good job. Now I'm happy with that sitting there like that. I've shined up a bit here somewhere there. Did him put extra hard with the flapper disc, so I've got a good piece of metal to get contact there as well with the two wires that we're going to be putting in there. So I'll just put the pot in there, and I want to secure him off about tight. I'll put his tail here. I should be able to do that. Get a bit creative with my knot tying. It's okay, you can go over like that. The most important part is that he is not touching the metal anywhere. He is just clearly suspended. I'm just going to move him to the center a bit more there. Okay, so he's not touching the sides anywhere. He's just suspended in the solution. This rope is non-conductive, and so is the timber. So if we put a current into the water, it has to flow through the pipe. Okay, I've got the power supply all hooked up over here. I'm running it flat chat on all the tiles. I don't know if that's where you're supposed to be at or not. Don't trust me, I'm not a scientist or an electrician. But anyway, it's only been on for a couple of minutes and the water's actually moving around here already, so I've definitely got current activity in there, which tells me that, well, everything's working. I've got the connections clean enough to work, and that's also telling me that it should be de-rusting that camp oven as we speak. Now you all saw just how rusty it was when I put it in there. So we're going to give that 24 hours. I'll keep an eye on it. I might take some shots in a few hours time when there's a bit of activity to see, and apart from that, we'll let it go overnight and we'll get the camp oven out and we'll have a look and see how good a job we've done. Okay, well, we've got a bit of action happening here. I'll just swing this camera around and give you a look. About half an hour, and look at the colour of that. That is very, very orange and rusty looking there now. I'm guessing that it's working quite well. I got everything wound up flat out. I don't know if you're supposed to do it that way or not, but anyway, my guess is the rust is really ripping off that. My previous setup was only a very small little battery charger. I think it was 4 amp or something, and you can see it collecting around the rust bubbles around the sacrificial anodes, and that's usually a good sign that it's all happening down there. Anyway, we're going to let this run. I'm just debating whether maybe I should just turn it off overnight and then start it up again in the morning and while I'm hanging around. But anyway, I might just let it run, see how it goes, and might give him a bit of a lift later and just see how he's looking. I just thought I'd sneak down for a bit of a look to see how this is going. It's only been running for about 6 hours, and you can see, I'll just show you just how much it's come up in froth. Look at that. It's like a whopping great big cake, a couple of inches deep of just rusty looking junk. Yeah, this little thing, it's certainly doing its job. But I'm going to turn it off now. It's very cold. It's very wet outside. It's raining, windy, freezing cold. And I was laying in bed and I thought, yeah, I don't know if I want to leave it on all night. I'll just sneak down and turn it off, have a look, and switch it off until morning. And I'm going to do that. And yep, that's off. So I might even have a quick sneak peek. Just see if I can see what's going on under there. I don't know if I can lift it or not. Yep, pull them off. Well, it doesn't look too rusty to me. I think a lot of it's come off. It might be finished already. Okay, well, I came in late last night, and had a quick peek at this thing, and I got a bit of a shock. It was all foamed up like mad. The foam was a good 3 or 4 inches deep, and it's settled down now. This is the next day. But I didn't bother turning it back on this morning, and we've been out doing a few things. I had a quick peek last night, and I tell you what, it looked like it was completely done. So that only took a few hours. So I'm just going to get it out of the electrolysis now and have a close look at what's going on, and what it should look like. I'll just have a bit of a let you know what to expect. Is I'm expecting to see the camp oven not look rusty, but look like a blue color metal, but it won't be metal. It'll have like a black or a blue, dark blue scum all over the whole lot, and you won't actually see the real metal until you take it outside and hit it with a jet on a hose or a scrubbing brush and a bit of a hose or something. So I'm actually going to lift it out and have a bit of a look, and if it looks like it's done, I've got a wash bay right there for camp ovens. I'm going to take it straight out there and we're going to wash it down and have a look. Now, the tricky thing is, I'm not set up to do the seasoning yet. What I'm going to have to do in this situation right now, because I can't let that dry, I have to keep it wet. If it's back to pure metal, I have to keep it wet, because the second it dries, it will start to oxidize, rust. Okay, so the only way really that we can stop it from getting any oxidization on it is either to keep it wet or dry it under a high heat. Have an oven there going full blast, and this is what I normally do. Have the oven going full blast so you can wash it off, get it clean, and throw it straight in that red hot oven. Evaporate all the moisture straight out of it, and then oil it. Spray it with oil straight away. But I'm just not set up to do that right this minute. What I can do is whiz it upstairs and put it in the oven in the house up there. I'm sure Dad won't mind. But I'll have to go and preheat it first. But anyway, for the moment, I don't think I'll have any troubles keeping it dry, keeping it wet, because it's been bloody raining all day. And I'm just going to take it out and give it a wash, and we'll check it out and make a decision from there. At the very worst, I can just put it straight back in here, and that's fine. It won't rust while it's underwater. Let's have a look at him. Oh, let's rope up. There he comes. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That
It's clean.
is a completely different camp oven to what went in there yesterday. Now, this only took a few hours with that electrolysis. I think it's blown the scum and everything off it. I usually get a bit of scum on it. It is a little bit scummy in places. All right, I'll untie this and we'll whiz it out there and we'll give it a wash. And we'll have a look at the inside of that. We'll have a look at it. That is not the same oven. All right, I'll just untie this rope and we'll move spots.
All right. Wash your hands. Oh. Wow, looks new.
Well, that stuff coming off it there. This rust is being killed.
Look at the leaves.
How about that? That's pure metal back in there. I mean, there's a tiny little bit just in that corner there, and I can just probably buff that out. But the rest of it, that's pure metal. No seasoning, no carbon, absolutely nothing on there. Wash that soap out, and she's done. She's ready to season. Well, I guess, yeah, let's go. I better go and whack that in the oven.
Wow, looks near on.
I better go whack this one in the oven and get him nice and dry and get some oil on him before he starts to rust again. And yeah, that's come up. That's an absolutely... This pot's actually immaculate. It looked pretty rough, but it is in very good condition. It's going to season up lovely. We better get the lid done too, I suppose. That'll be next. All right.
All right.
We better do that. King Brown out.